Yet a beautiful day it is indeed, and of course, you are welcome to this segment of Let's Look at It. Once again, with me, JT Tebehadi, Focus Media SA is where it's at, and I'm excited today that I have someone probably a lot of you know. All right, this is where it's at. Of course, let's look at it once again. I'm sitting with none other than Mrs. ZONA DAVANI. Welcome, Madam.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
Great, God's good. It's been an amazing year. Not even a sign of fatigue.
Yeah,
the energy is high, so we are doing great and grateful.
I know you were a makeup artist whilst working. Is it a side hustle?
You know, with makeup, I fell in love with it from a very early age. Grew up in a household where magazines are the thing. My mother raised us on magazines. So the first thing I'd look at were the credits where there's a photo shoot done, in particular with True Love magazine. I would see the credits there and my eye would immediately jump at makeup artist. Back then, I didn't know anyone on a personal level that was a makeup artist. So it started from there. I got to know a lady that would always show up there, Faith CEO. And, you know, I picked up an interest from that. And then with my journalism work, I got my first TV job. I was fresh out of varsity at the time. We had a photo shoot. And for the first time, I saw all the tools that I used because I was at the receiving end now of the makeup that I had always looked forward to seeing in person.
Yes.
So I was so curious from that makeup artist. I asked her a lot of things about it. And that's when it actually started to feel tangible and possible for me to do. And then straight after that, there was the rise of YouTube. And I went to the YouTube Academy of Makeup, basically.
OMG.
I started watching those tutorials and then started right away to do my own makeup. And then from there, people would see my own makeup and ask that I do their makeup, and then it just went from family, friends, and all that. It just grew into something. And then the actual, you know, I would say pinnacle of it all for me to actually take it seriously and actually get to work with the greats such as this Zam Photography as an in-house makeup artist. Way before
baby.
Tato, you know. I started this. So from then, it was a very spiritual period in my life where I had literally went on top of a mountain, cried and pled with God that, God, where do you want me to be? You know, I believe you have not created me to go to the office and come sit at home and wallow about how my salary is not meeting the needs of me and my son at the time. And as in true God style, really, it just hit me like a light bulb that I know how to do makeup. I just started to market myself and started doing it more regularly.
Was this when you were now already employed, or you were still not employed? You were already employed.
Remember, I said I was employed, but not living a life that I felt was fulfilling to me, and even the money was just not meeting our needs. You know, it was, God offered me that lifeline. He told me straight up that I'm not going to give you a job, but you need to look within you, get this going. I've gifted this to you. And I just started to be more intentional to put myself out there. And it didn't take long at all, because over the years I had been getting people from referrals, but it would literally just be a wedding once a year or once in December, or 2 people during matric dance, until I literally went to God and cried on that mountain like a mad woman. He literally showed it to me that this is the lifeline I have for you.
I would have thought that from what you started with, you know, as children, when we grow up, you're looking at the magazine like, oh, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be a police officer, I want to be this and all of that. And you were looking at these magazines and you just were drawn to this part.
Yes.
And is it something that you thought that when I grow up, I want to be this, or is it just something that flew?
It was just a curiosity, really. I would have that interest, but when it came to be a time where I had to choose my career path, journalism was just another obvious choice. I believe I don't know, God has gifted me to tell stories. So I may tell a story by creating a whole new look on a face, you know,
All
or I
right.
may tell a story by observing what's happening around me and share that, you know. I believe I am meant to tell stories.
And it's almost as if you are an amoeba, if you know that amoeba. You know, whenever there's something that is of interest, you fall into that,
fall into
and it becomes a part of you. You go into that place, you fall into that, it becomes part of you.
yeah.
And you know, that's what happened with makeup, and that's what happened, you know, with your journalism, and because of your interest and wanting to know more about this thing that you're doing, and you went to the YouTube Academy for Makeup, and then after that, you are talking today as what I call it, the first time that I heard of, I'm not saying that it was not there before, but the first time I heard of a Christian influencer on YouTube, I was like, ooh, now that's something to write home about.
Yeah.
Did you ever, you know, think that you want to specifically do this, or is it something that just became, because what you are now, you are actually creating waves on the YouTube channels?
You know what? My friend Onela actually coined the term Christian influencer, I think.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
That is her term. But I had been operating in that space as a Christian woman who creates content. Now, because we are close friends and we are in the influencer space, a lot of people refer to us as Christian influencers. And because my life, anyway, I picked it up a while ago, and that's why I became more intentional with doing content that is more in line with my Christian faith. I have a gift of influence without even trying. You know, I think all of us have it, but just like grace, it differs in measures. So it's only right that you take it up and own up to it.
Yes.
A lot of people may think that you're putting pressure on yourself if you are saying you're a Christian influencer. But what else would you rather
Because
be?
one of the things that I'm thinking,
we all are influencers.
one of the things that I'm thinking is then if you coin yourself like that, or if you close yourself, box yourself in that corner, are you always going to be able to produce the content that goes into that? Because basically what it is about, it's content hungry, and everything has to be new and different all the time and stuff like that. Did you go into that space to be sure that you create content, or what was your reason to actually go into we go for many reasons into YouTube. Some people want to go there to be famous, some people go there you know, some people are trying to get a job. You know, because some things don't work, so let me try my luck on this side. What did you go into it for?
You know, I have had a very colorful journey with YouTube. Remember I said I studied there, basically. And then I soon after started to have my own channel, which was very well received. It's still the same channel I use now, but it was many years ago. Back then, I was doing makeup, okay? It had nothing to do with lifestyle. And then I took a long break from the platform until it got to about 2 years ago, in 2020, actually. I felt that I had a story to tell now, because a lot of people started doing the makeup, and it was good. And I'm still really good at doing makeup, and teaching is one of my beautiful gifts that I honor and cherish. But I felt like I have something bigger than makeup to share with the world. I have a testimony to share, because most of what I share on my content is my testimony, but I will dress it up in different ways. I will talk about my fashion content, but I will include the aspect of modesty, of how God took me from a certain stage in my life, and I transitioned into a woman who genuinely cares about herself, how she presents herself to the world without being thirsty of attention. I will still share, I'll do a story time, I'll do that makeup, but I will include a story time where I'm sharing about a particular season in my life and how God showed up for me. So for me, I am a content creator who happens to be a Christian.
And I love that, because one of the things that you say, and which I find very interesting, and perhaps I'd actually even bounce it back to you, that do you think actually this is what makes the difference, that you did not go into this space because you wanted to create content, but you went into this space because you felt that now I have something to communicate.
You go into that space, it's not a technical space. I believe YouTube, you can have a
Speak for yourself, girl. It's not a technical
It
space.
is quite technical because, well, I'm trained as a
Jeez.
journalist. I know how to operate a camera. I know how to edit. But
Yeah.
what I mean is that what will make us stand out the most is the intention behind it all.
Oh, yes.
You know, I can see when watching a YouTube video now, I can see right through someone who is trying to be someone who already has millions of subscribers. I believe our community and consumers of all our content platforms, social media platforms, they want to know a story of you. Or the people that you bring in sharing their stories, more than just you showing us what did you buy last week. You know, we want to know the intention behind it all. We want to see if we can take anything out of your own journey, because people consume content not because you look good. That's why you will see beautiful people sharing their selfies on Instagram and only a group of their friends liking that picture. But brands will go for an average girl like me and say, okay, Estée Lauder says, okay, we want to attach ourselves to you because you are so bold. Tell us your story about makeup. We're opening it up to you because they know you. They trust your authenticity.
Yes.
You know, it's not even about anything else.
I'm smiling right now. You say an average girl. I've actually lost between two worlds. And what is she talking about?
Humble yourself.
Humble yourself, yeah?
Very
okay.
key, that thing.
All
Very
right.
key.
I'm going to leave it right there. And I'm going to think about Isa Pando. This has a pando. Which, okay, fine. What?
Yes.
I'm going back to the dictionary meaning of what average is. Because when I'm looking at your channel, I'm seeing anything but average. And I want to say to you right now, in fact, I want to bring it to you as a question, that this is a communication tool.
Yes.
You know, the platforms are a communication tool. I don't know why you know, a vast majority of people are getting into that space. On the main, I might know a couple of people. I know why I got into that space. Yes. But you talked about, now I have a story to tell. When you tell a story, you are telling it to a particular audience. Did you have a particular audience in mind, or you just putting it out there? You
know, a lot of people, when they advise you about creating content, they will say find a niche. That's so limiting.
The word niche has become a cliche.
It's such a cliche word. For me, it was not even about a target audience. I had to take it down to a point of one person. Who am I talking to?
Okay.
I zoomed it all the way down. What is her interest in life? What is her story? Because you don't want, personally, I didn't want a situation where I want to appeal to everyone. I never want to appeal to everyone. I'm very particular because I know, even as a person, you will not be someone that everyone is interested in. So you must know who you're speaking to. I knew for myself that I can, even if I had to draw this woman, I would show you this woman and put a picture of her. I'm speaking to a woman here. She is in her late 20s towards her 40s.
Okay.
It's a very big gap. There's a lot of transitioning there. In terms of our finances. Hence, one of the pillars on my channel is affordability in all these things that I do. And another aspect to what I do is simplicity, simplifying the stuff that ladies do. I will show you how to quickly do your makeup while you know how to do your makeup, or you probably don't even know how to do it, but here's a way that's going to be quick for you. So I need to know the interests of that person. Chances are she has had some dating issues going. So I look at her and look at all the different aspects to her life. Her need to live within her means, her need to look good, her need for spiritual growth. So I'll share the nuggets of what I learned during my morning devotion that day. So I also share how I'm getting healthier. I'll share my meals. So I look at the woman that I'm speaking to and all the different aspects to her life, with God at the center, and also sharing my testimony as I go. I don't give you steps on, but this is how you can get to this. This is how I got to this. This is how God helped me through this. So that is my target audience, searching method, so to speak.
And there's this myth-busting thing about you that I noted with interest, that and it actually confirms and corroborates what you're saying, that you are not trying to reach a particular niche. You're actually dealing with a person at the practical level.
Yes. Basic level.
And you talk about the quick way to do your makeup and stuff like that. But then there is a thing about fashion, the clothing.
Yes.
And I see that you are intentional about saying you don't have to go and break the bank to be beautiful.
Yes.
Didn't you find that at some point, maybe just thinking about it, that maybe people would think I'm cheap and anything like that? That's like going against the grain. So because when you look at and you're a makeup artist, I mean, you do stuff luxury, you know, and so that's sort of like a contrast. And I find that people that go into this kind of a space, they want to present an image of luxury, of I've got more than I can.
I have.
You know what I mean? And you went into that space.
That is the aspect of reality to me. I grew up with not a lot, which quickly taught me how to make the little stretch. And I believe in this current economy, a lot of people are facing the same challenges. I'm just being real about things. And I wouldn't want to contribute to a society that forces people to do things that are degrading to them, or that force them into a corner to sell their souls just because they want to look a certain way. I teach young women in my platform how to, wherever you are, at whatever stage in life you are, you can show up as a dignified person. That is very intentional on my side, because I had to learn that we forced matters with my sisters. And I believe that there's still a lot of people out there that are struggling. I want to be that one example that people can look at and say, well, if she can do it, then I can do it. There's a lot of things that require our money, man.
I know.
We can, just
and the cost of living is just
have.
Ridiculous. The cost of living on its own, just for the bare necessities, it's ridiculous. And that's what I love about you. And that's why you are here, because there's so many people that are on these places that I can actually, but it had to be you, because there's this thing that stands out, and that's very much of an interest. And I believe that's where now, and which is actually at the heart of us talking today, the issue of empowerment. Because empowerment is exactly that, to say that you don't have to define yourself by standards that you don't even know what actually informs them. Yes. And when all of that has been said and done, we look up to you, and we still enjoy you. I remember one of the times I was saying, why is it that, and you're going to have to answer it right now, because you did that outside of this kind of a setup. You're going to answer it right now.
I'm scared.
There's this thing about, hello, my lovies, and I can hear that you talk, my beauties. Yeah, obviously you can't be talking to me. And I don't know if you have learned that you have me as a subscriber to your channel, as a man, and I'm not the only one.
Yes.
And I asked you a direct question about that.
Okay.
What's the story?
I go by my demographics, Tagatat. I don't even know how to call you by your name. Okay. With JT. I watch a lot of
Takatato, I love that. That's who I am.
That's who you are.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I watch a lot of my demographics.
Oh yeah.
So the larger part of my community
but
is
we
the
are
ladies.
There. We are there.
But I want my girls, like I said, I don't want to be appealing to everyone. It's like a woman telling you how to be a man. I want you to watch there and see something that you like for your girls at home.
Okay.
Right? Oh. But I still want that space to be a safe space for the girls, for the women, because at the center of it, I'm reviving femininity there.
All right.
Femininity is something that is dying in our society, because for many years it's been drummed to young women that you have to be strong as a woman, you have to be equal to a man, you have to do this and that. No, but that's the messaging in traditional media these days.
I never thought I would live long enough to hear a woman at your level, and where you are in your spaces and sphere of influence say that, because it's one of the things that we really struggle with, that to be a real woman these days. That's why I was like looking at when you say you're saying femininity. I thought you were going to say feminism. Because those two mean two different things.
It's two completely
different things. Yeah. And you are actually saying being a woman, it's actually good all by itself. without trying to prove a point. That's what I'm hearing
anyone.
you say.
It's one of the pillars in my platform. Femininity is high up there. It's at the center of everything that I do. I'm doing a renaissance there of femininity to say it's okay to own being a soft person, being a nurturer, being a woman who supports, in the case of a married woman.
Yes.
It's a great thing to submit. It's a great thing to play by what God has gifted us. Obawo has made us to be sensual, to be soft, to be feelers of things. We are the heart of the family. And so we should embrace that without trying to be equal to men. Men are not our enemy. That's the biggest message that I see in the world today. There's nothing as beautiful as watching a woman taking up her space as a woman, not trying to compete with anyone, embracing all elements and aspects of womanhood. Even these things like your makeup and the outfits that I share there, at the center of it is a form of influencing women to embrace womanhood, all these small aspects that make us women. And especially amongst the Christian community, I grew up in the very traditional church times, not to disrespect it in any way, but a lot of the things that we love as women were quickly associated with being worldly, but now we are taking ownership of the beauty of women, because even in the Bible, at the time Esther was going to take up her space as the queen, they were given an entire year to do their hair, to do their skin, to prepare their outfits.
So self-love.
You cannot tell me that God is not in it when we self-love. There is just no way. God is very well within the process itself as women, where we embrace what he has made us to be.
We are in the times when this is actually a shocker for me. Like it's a beautiful shocker as well.
Don't be shocked.
No, I'll tell you why. There was a time when I actually started. I wanted to start a program which actually says marriage is underrated. Your peers, your contemporaries, if you go to social media platforms and stuff, they say marriage is overrated. And you're actually out there and saying the opposite. Are you crazy? That's what they probably are saying. What's your response to that?
Because I've tasted and seen. That's my response. You know, we come from such a broken background as many people in our society. We haven't seen the examples of healthy marriages until you intentionally look out for those. So I do not really blame people for thinking that. I blame us in healthy marriages, if anything.
We talk less.
We need to be more vocal. We need
and
to
more
show
visible.
up. We need to show up more, that's for sure, so that people can see that you know what I mean. Just show up to the reality of marriage. A lot of people will keep quiet about all the good in their marriage, and the one time we will hear about their marriages is when things fall apart. And even in fact, traditional media thrives on bad news. As a journalist, a hard news journalist, it's something I quickly learned in varsity, that bad news in the journalism world is good news.
It's good business.
Yes. Yeah. So I think the ball lies on the court of the healthy marriages, healthy families showing up more. With the small, my family and my marriage is not a big part of my content, because I'm very particular even about that, because these are the people in my life that didn't choose to be content creators. They will support me from time to time. But at that rare occasion when I show that aspect of me, I'm met with a lot of positivity, which is something I think a lot of people are hungry for. You know, I think people are hungry to see something that affirms them that actually okay to desire marriage. It's one of the things I talked about. It's one of the subjects I've touched on my channel. I think I was talking about how to prepare yourself for marriage as a woman. I think that was the title of the video. There I break it down. I start by saying, you know, first things first, you have to admit to yourself when you desire marriage, to actually boldly say, I desire marriage. To be married. You know, that's the first step in a society that's forever trying to say to you, do not desire that. It is so wrong. If you secretly want it, own up to it. Pray to God about it so that he may lead you towards that direction. The first thing is to start by owning up to it. There's no shame to desiring marriage, you know. There's no shame to being married, you know. That is what Ubao has put within us. There is no way we can be created with men like but we are not supposed to mate and be married. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
So yeah.
And here is the thing that is actually even more important, because I actually wanted to come to that space. Content creation is not very easy. And it's consuming on a lot of things. And you are not just a content creator, influencer, don't know what the right,
Content creator?
Content creator, okay.
Yes.
You are that.
Yes.
You are a wife, a mother. You are also a career woman. You still have 24 hours in the day, just like I do, and 7 days in a week, just like I do. How do you find that on just the demand that it presents for you physically and mentally and psychologically?
I'm very selfish about it. I prioritize what matters most to me. My family will always come up tops. If you may have observed, my YouTube channel I've been hounded by my people all across other platforms, wanting me back there. It's been 3 months now, but it feels like a year. There was a time I felt like I was getting to a point of a burnout, really, because the work was getting too much. So I was like, okay, until I get a team, at least someone to edit my videos, let me take a break. I do not want to create here a fake reality of, I'm just juggling everything. It's very important.
I love how simple you are and how genuine you are.
I'm not gonna lie about anything, bro. But when it comes to content creation, I have set up a small setup in my home with my lights. That way I'm able to, even after work, I can quickly film a video and be done with it. And also a big part of it, content creation for me is just capturing my lifestyle. It's not something I put on or put off, or if I'm talking about a particular product, it's something that's new, that I'm excited, that I'm using at that particular moment. I feel the minute you separate yourself a lot from it, then you're going to lose your authenticity, which is the one reason people came to your space to begin with. And another one for me that I'm always...
And in fact, it's going to be a burnout, because it's very difficult to do something that you're not.
That you're not, yes. You're going to feel like you're going to get tired. But my burnout was due to the fact that there was a lot of content that's there, that's waiting for me to edit it. And I don't want a situation where everyone is sitting at home and having dinner, I'm not present. I saw that it was leading to that. I had to take a step back. But one thing about YouTube being the one foundation platform for me is that what you do there can sustain you for a very long time. That's why I have massive respect for YouTube, that I don't just show up there when I'm not in a good space to show up there, because it's the most vital platform. There, what you leave there has a longer lifespan and longevity than all these other platforms. The 90 seconds content, 60-second content quickly flashes and people forget about you. So I have to be fully present when I'm in that space. I need to balance out my priorities, really.
Let me pick your brains on this. The current trend is do reels, do the things that, easy to consume stuff and stuff like that. When I compare it with what you just said right now, it would seem to me that you are more poised to say that I want to do the long whatnot stuff. Or are you balancing both of them, or is one a little bit more important than the other?
YouTube, in my view, is a lot more important. It's a lot more important because that is a very intentional platform. People go there to search for something in particular. It's quite rare to just bump into something or to go into YouTube without anything in mind that you're looking for.
So on the reels, people don't search.
People don't search anything. They're killing their time. It's just slide up quickly. I feel YouTube, that's why even at a time I felt like I was burning out, it's the one platform I decided to slow down on, because that's the one space that I cherish the most. I don't want to mess with it, because I feel, that's where people get to learn on a deeper level of even my testimony that I say I went into content creation to share. So I respect that. And then the quick consumable content, that stuff is nice. But I don't think you stand to build a legacy or to influence an entire generation purely on that. I use it now because it is quick and I'm still able to maintain good relations with my audience while I figure out how do I manage my matters to not affect my family. But overall, the one platform that is more meaningful, that has more meat, is definitely YouTube.
And going forward, it would seem to me that actually that platform on its own, it provides an opportunity for us to be in a position, when I say us, I mean us,
As
right?
creators in the space.
As creators in this particular space, to begin to influence perception, to begin to because that's what influencing is about.
Yes.
To begin to have an input about where we want to see the world going and society as a whole. Do you find that because this has been my challenge for me, that YouTube has been seen as actually the expensive suit in the media space for consumption, that is for consumers and stuff like that. Do you find that you probably may be missing out on the audience that you would love to reach because YouTube is expensive like that, or do you do it nonetheless?
Like I said, I don't really care to be everyone's cup of tea. I feel like YouTube is for someone who is intentional with that particular subject. And I'm very happy with it being the expensive suit. Even on the creator space, I feel like a lot of people, having conquered TikTok, for example, think they can just come on YouTube and be the thing. And it's never always the same case.
Yeah.
I feel like YouTube is the one platform that still requires people to have content, to actually have something in between their ears. It's the one platform, not to say that other platforms people are without a brain, but that's where you actually get the substance of a person. It's a platform that's not easy to break into or sustain. So one really has to be thoughtful and mindful to get into that space. It's not an easy one to crack. Even celebrities, you find celebrities that already have a following in traditional media trying to break into YouTube and struggling and then eventually giving up. I feel like it's a very particular space. Like you're saying, it is quite an expensive suit.
It is quite an expensive, yeah. Even to
but
actually
it's accessible as well. Sorry?
Even in terms of actually investing, you actually present your material on it.
Yeah, you have to be fully present.
As a married woman, a wife, and you have a partner and all of that.
A very handsome partner, please. Don't forget that.
Too handsome to actually mention. Too handsome to actually mention. But quite a lovely guy. Quite a lovely guy for sure. And I'm not just saying this to buy your face.
I've seen
you
guys
can
interact.
eat that guy's heart. You can just eat that guy's
soft.
heart. And I have reason to believe that's one of the reasons why it's so easy for you to actually fund this YouTube thing, because
project.
because she looks at probably he looks at you, he probably meds all the time like just go for it, baby.
Camera.
You know, how does that begin to how is that, you know, your influencing life, you know, perceived in your family, starting from
Lemon and herb.
Lemon and herb, yes. You know, starting from lemon and herb and going upwards right up until your husband. How are they, you know perceiving and adapting that?
Yes, my husband is very supportive of it. After the many years I had taken off the platform, I spoke to him and I was like, no, I wish I actually feel like going back to YouTube now. He was very supportive of that from the word go.
Oh yeah.
And he watches my videos. I was laughing the other day. He was saying this young lady asked him at work, why do you always watch this YouTube channel? The colleague doesn't know me. It's the first thing you do in the morning. He started off just watching that so that I could get to monetization. At the time, I was building up to 4,000 watch hours. So that is to say he is fully in it.
Fan number one.
Number one fan. I think in my demographics, with that small percentage of males that shows up there, it's you and him and my two other male friends. So he's very supportive of what I do there. And he's come to understand that I will have my quiet times where I'm actually filming. So he'll monitor the noise in the house because mama is in there filming. So they are very supportive. And my son also helps me to edit sometimes or to capture some content, especially for the short film platforms like your YouTube, like your TikTok and Instagram, you will literally film with me. Like the setup you have here with the whole family is involved. But now we are in the process of getting my husband to actually learn how to edit videos as well. So I hope this answers you. Everyone in the family is well and in it. And then, of course, Lemon and Herb, which is Mingo and Poncho. They are very famous in that channel. Whenever I'm walking just from the vlogs, people will always ask, where's Mingo, no Poncho? So they do support the channel by showing up with their cute faces. So we are all in it as a family.
All right. Lastly, before I let you go, it's really an awesome thing to just listen.
I know, right?
Just listen to you, you know. Where do you see this whole exercise going in the future? Are you just happy where things are right now and you're probably going to let it go and it gets there? Or are you having a particular, space and a level where you want to see this channel going and this thing that you're doing within that space going?
I see the digital aspect to it. This is only the foundations of it.
Oh, yes.
You see that movement that, who's this guy now? There's this farmer who does a men's conference in a farm.
Oh, yes, a faith like potato. Yes.
You see what God has done with
Angus.
that. Yes, Angus Backen.
Yes.
Angus Backen is a very instrumental person in my life, influential person in my life.
Awesome stuff.
As opposite as we are, we are from different ends of the world. He's very influential.
And he's an old man for that matter.
He's an old man. He's
passionate about what he's doing.
Afrikaner farmer, but here I am, black woman from the Transkei. But the one thing that we have in common is the love for people and God. And
just doing yourselves, because that's the thing. When you see Angus and he loves his farming, he loves his cows, and he does that within that he makes sure that it's part of what he's doing.
He does. And I love how he gathers thousands of men from all across the country into one place to talk about being a man after Christ.
Oh,
so that's the ultimate goal for me. I want this whole thing to start becoming a physical gathering where we gather as women from all across this entire nation, get together and glam, pray, look good, have a conversation, cry together, become an annual thing. So that's something God showed me recently, that this is the ultimate goal for me. For a very long time, it was just connecting on the surface level across the phone. But I definitely am open to God making it something bigger that is actually physical. And I also see it becoming more spiritual based. I did touch on the surface level here and there, but I want it to be something more of that spiritual aspect to the platform.
Just a platform to announce the better news and as well to actually prepare for actually physical interaction. Yes. He calls it, Angus Buchanan, he calls it mighty men.
Mighty men, yes.
Are we looking at a mighty woman of sorts
I can't just steal from the men of God like that. I must just wait for my moment. I'm going to go back to my mountain. Yeah, let me not overshare my plans, but I'm going to go back to the drawing board and God is going to clarify it for me. But I definitely see our anointed beauties in one place at the same time, crying together, praying together, looking beautiful together, and just listening to each other's stories and drawing closer to God together.
All right. So it's always a pleasure to have you, to be in your company, to actually, exchange nuggets like we do. You're an amazing, phenomenal woman in this particular time and space. And I'm actually loving just how simple becomes very tangible when you do the things that you do. Thank you ever so much, man, for
Thank you so much for having me, Takatato. And the people watching this are only seeing the glimpse of the conversations. I love to pick your brain, and today was not about you, it was about me. Hopefully, I'll get an opportunity one day to pick your brain again on camera for
you will
to
revenge.
Experience. Yes, I will.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. She is saying that she's going to be revenging. Well, I'm game. So having said all that, we say, be you, do you, be the best that you can be. And remember that there's no reason to go behind things that you will not. Just do yourself. And just like my sister said right here, that just being in your element, on your lane, is the best thing that you can do for yourself. And hey, after all, you have only yourself and nobody else when the whole thing comes to a true test. I'm JT Tedhadi. This is Let's Look at It once again on Focus Media SA. Please do remember to subscribe to the channel. And if you've done so already, thank you ever so much. And God bless you.